This video is sponsored by Venture Mouthpieces. Hey trumpet nerds! Looks like Bach is finally in the process of releasing some new C trumpet models for 2025. Let's take a look at what we know so far. Bach Brass posted this picture from their booth at NAMM, a big music trade show, on Facebook recently, which gives us a pretty decent overview of some of their new offerings. From what I can tell, there are 5 new Bach C trumpet models: the new 229 or 229M, the 229X, the 229F, the 229C, and the 238VF. I'm gonna try to simplify things for you a bit today, so you can think of the 5 new C trumpet models as being sorted into 3 different buckets: the Elkhart style Bachs, New York style Bachs, and a more soloistic style Bach. The new Elkhart style Bachs are styled to be more like the wider wrap modern C trumpets that have been made in the current Elkhart, Indiana factory since 1965, while the new New York style Bachs are throwbacks to some of the physically narrower and more compact trumpets Bach was making in his New York and Mount Vernon factories. So let's go through each bucket. The first bucket has the Elkhart style Bachs, which include the new 190 series 229 and 229X models. These are basically refreshed and updated modern Elkhart style Bach C trumpets. Both of these models have the standard wide wrap bracing and a tall height B-flat tuning slide. The new 229 is the newest version of the Michael Sachs inspired 25M model Bach C trumpet and has wide wrap nickel Z braces, a bottom seam standard weight 229 bell with a round stainless steel wire bead, the aforementioned tall B-flat style tuning slide, and an updated 25M lead pipe with a 351 Venturi. The new 229 or 229M is generally inspired by a 1970s style Bach Corporation bell 229-25H, a style of Bach C trumpet that has a bit more weight, a wide wrap, and a larger internal volume compared to the others in this lineup. The 229X, you could say this is sort of an upgraded 190 series version of the current 180 229-25H Bach C trumpets, with a lightweight side seam bell, a round stainless steel bell wire, wide span Z braces, a 25H lead pipe, and a super interesting new X-style tuning slide, which starts at a large bore in the top leg and through the crook, but chokes down to a medium large bore in the lower leg before exiting into the large bore valve block. You could say that the 229X trumpet is probably inspired by the earlier 60s through mid-70s Elkhart Corporation 229-25H models, with a tuning slide inspired by a cut-down B-flat tuning slide that was a popular aftermarket feature done in New York on C trumpets back in the day, with that larger bore top and medium large bore end. The second bucket has the New York style Bach C trumpets, the 229F and the 229C. Both of these models have the narrow wrap bracing, short height C tuning slide, and French bead bells, and are sort of spiritual successors to the current Bach Philly and Chicago models, though again, completely new trumpets. The 229F is apparently based on a set of unique Bach New York C trumpets, and is sort of the Bach Philly of this bunch. It features a side seam standard weight 229 bell with a French bead, an updated 25C lead pipe, and the short C tuning crook and narrow span Z braces like I mentioned earlier. This is basically the standard weight version of the next trumpet I'm going to talk about, the new 229C. Okay, things are really getting saucy here with this trumpet, which was developed with Chicago Symphony / Philadelphia Orchestra principal trumpeter ESTEBAN. BATALLAN. It's meant to be based on the most famous Mount Vernon Bach C trumpets, the ones that Bach sold to the CSO in 1955, specifically the one used by Bud Herseth. It has a side seam lightweight 229 bell with a French bead, the new 25E lead pipe, which is like a longer and more efficient 25H. It has shortened first and third slides, a first slide brace, and yet again, the short C tuning crook and narrow span Z braces. I find the shortened first and third slides feature to be really interesting to include. It means that flat pitches like fourth line D can be played a little higher, but also means that you'll have to float the slides or keep them slightly extended on other pitches involving those valves in order for those to be in tune. Lots of old school pros did this to their C trumpets, so it is really cool to see this aftermarket feature represented on a stock model in a modern Bach. And in the third bucket, there's a fifth model, which doesn't really fit as neatly into the Elkhart or New York group, and it's more of a soloistic C trumpet, the 238VF, which was designed with international trumpet soloist Tina Ting Helseth. This is the only model from these 5 that doesn't feature some variety of a 229 bell, but rather the big, warm, B-flat sounding Germanic style 238 bell with a side seam and a French bead. It does have the narrow Z braces like the 229F and C models, as well as the brace from the first slide of the 229C, but has a different short height tuning slide featuring a step bore from medium large to large bore, Vindobona style. You used to see a lot more Bach trumpets in interesting builds like this, so it's refreshing to see that concept brought into a line of modern flagship releases for Bach. Okay, just in case that was a little too much to process, feel free to pause the video here to look at this table that I made to try to reflect all the differences between the models. So when are these things going to be available? I've heard that Bach is saying that the new 229 and the 229C models will be out in March, the 229X probably in April, and the 229F and 238VF in June of 2025. So it looks like it's going to be an exciting year of new trumpet releases from Bach. Since it seems like it'll be a few months before you can actually buy any of these trumpets, maybe consider buying some mouthpieces instead. Even potentially from this video's sponsor, Venture Mouthpieces. They're the mouthpiece company best equipped to give you the custom mouthpiece experience you've probably been looking for, offering you the ability to have custom designs made as one pieces, screw rims, screw tops, screw cups, screw underparts, and screw backbores, available in a large number of different blanks and weights. Go to venture.mp to learn more and get started. And thanks for joining me for this episode of John Talks Trumpet, and I'll see you on my next nerdy trumpet adventure.